was not math or science, was like, you don't do this. So I had to play this drum in secret. But I played at weddings, and I started to make a little.
Good morning, everyone. So it's the weekend is over. It's Monday, and like I said yesterday, I've been able to outsource every single thing, especially when it has to do with SOPs, documentations. So what will I be doing this morning on my desk? Okay. So firstly, it's been long. I actually had to do let me silence this phone. How do I go to silent again? Do not disturb. Okay, your phone was ringing. Please attend to it. I don't know, it was a number. Okay. Okay. That's a big one. So this morning, I intend to, firstly, I'm currently on the C panel as we speak. This is the C panel. I wasn't able to do so much yesterday. I have lots of calls coming in. I wasn't able to do so much yesterday. So I intend to continue from where I've stopped. So the first thing I would like to do this morning is to purify Realnaps. So Realnaps is a prediction app. It's also a brand that is practically around software prediction for virtual football games. I've been building it up myself alone for years, and this time around I would be cleaning it up. Like I would hide some sensitive data and put them into .env, after which I would upload it to our GitHub organization so developers can build upon it. For instance, the design on Realnaps is currently old. It's an old design I had done 2021. We built a design for Realnaps 2023. This is like 2 years ago. So 2024 I was supposed to implement the new Realnaps design. The whole of 2024 I was working on okecbot, and then I had like some little ups and downs, so I wasn't really able to like entrust this into the hands of a dev. So now I'm able to learn how to properly organize a firm. I've started getting to understand that you can't program these things alone, even if it's something you can do. You would have to put your time into other things that you cannot delegate, and so whatever you can delegate is best you delegate it to somebody. So while I was doing this yesterday, I was writing an SOP. So for those who know what an SOP is, an SOP simply means standard operating procedure. So I'm going to show you a bit of what I'm supposed to be doing this morning, and the rest of the day I'll be driving traffic to partners' websites. Okay, so I'm going to open an SOP. This SOP is called GitHub SOP. So let's say, for instance, the site cannot be reached. My Starlink is connected. So what is happening? Why is it not being reached? I guess that's an error. Let me try again. Not still being reached. Doesn't make sense to me. Let me turn on the VPN. Sometimes it's like this to you on VPN. I don't know if it's... I just don't know why that happens. So let me turn on my VPN. Okay, my VPN is connected now. Okay, so let me go back again and try. I don't know why this Starlink, I don't know if it's something else to do with Starlink specifically, but sometimes when you use Starlink, there's some websites you cannot open. For instance, Messi. If I want to trade on Messi and I open Starlink, it doesn't work. So you always have to use a VPN. They did not tell us that when we bought it. Now it's what we are seeing, that we have to use a VPN, not to use Starlink. Okay, that's by the way. Okay, so when you check out this SOP, you would see that this particular SOP here, which means standard operating procedure, is basically for pushing website projects. So for instance, Realnaps is a website, right? This is the Realnaps website over here. All this code are Realnaps code, right? So before I can push this Realnaps website to the GitHub, initially I used to push it to GitHub. I did not care because I'm the only person coding it. So what could go wrong, right? But now I'm going to be pushing it to the organization GitHub. Organization GitHub is like you can have a private GitHub account as a software developer. An organization GitHub account is the one that you create and you will now add other teams. It's more like a business GitHub account. Like the way a firm is, a software firm should have a software firm should have a business or organization GitHub account. So it also helps because companies can come and partner with you from your GitHub. In fact, if you're a company or you want to be a software tech founder and you don't have a company or organization GitHub account, probably you don't know about this, go and create one, because any big firm that is organized to would want to know if you have an organization GitHub. So that's where you put in all your rules, your regulation, blah blah blah, and all that, right? So now before I push this code into my GitHub organization or my organization GitHub repo, I have to clean it. So this is an SOP that I'm actually creating while doing this, which means this is a standard procedure I would want other people to follow. At the moment, I'm the one doing it, but in the future, I want other developers to be pushing. So I won't be the only person managing Realnaps or any website I own. It will be lots of other developers, working on it. So should we want to push any website to GitHub, these are the things that must be done. Hence the SOP, the standard operating procedure. The first thing to be done, okay, this is the SOP first of all. I'm using Google Slide for it. The first thing is the table of contents. What are the goals? What do we intend to achieve? Like, what is this whole SOP, this whole thing now? What is it all about? So if you come here, the goals is to make sure that there is a clear procedure for pushing web app to GitHub repo. This is to ensure efficient collaboration. So majorly, it's just basically saying that the goals we intend to achieve is that one, that it will be easy to upload any web app. You have to keep it, as in we should be able to upload it properly, like where it can be easily reproduced. Two, you should be able to do it in a way where security is being compliant. For instance, do not allow database password to show. So if you don't know what .env is, you see this code here. This folder has a .env. I don't know if you can see this .env, but I think every developer knows what the .env is, except you just started coding yesterday. So when I started coding, I used to use password and username for my database connection. That place you have to connect to MySQL database. So my MySQL database, I used to connect using username and password. So one day I worked with a developer. He said, "Sir, I saw your username and password to your database." And I said, "Yes." He said, "What if I wanted to just hack into your database and download your customers' information?" Right? And I said, "I trust you so much." He said, yeah. But when we left the call, my brain now clicked and said, "Oh, more, it's true. I shouldn't have left the username and password there." So that was when I started using .env. I knew about it, but I didn't feel like because I was not collaborating. So now I'm beginning to collaborate as a firm. There's certain things I need to be doing, like every password to any sensitive API. One, if it's an API key, if it's a password to a sensitive database, anything you would not just like anything you would not just like to be there, right? Those specific informations that doesn't really like. For instance, junior developers will be cloning these projects. People would clone this project, which means our developers, right? You don't want them to have access to your MySQL database, not because you don't trust them, but because it's not necessary. You want to only give people access to the things they would work with, to avoid, so they'll be able to know what you have given them and how much those data are sensitive. For instance, when we give you access to a database, we know that officially we handed this database access to you, and so you'll be able to know the level of confidentiality, the level of responsibility that has been put on your shoulder, right? So you don't just give people put information out there. People don't even know what you're giving them, and then tomorrow you now start blaming them that there was a data breach from their end. So as a cybersecurity analyst, as a tech founder, as a CEO to a tech and security firm, it's something you have to put on a process, like, which is an SOP, stating that if we want to back up a project, this is what we must do in order to back up a website or whatever it is. So this first one is showing you the goals. This is how you write an SOP. The first thing you put in the cover page. This cover page is to let anybody know what this SOP is all about. So if a developer wants to push any project, he would have to consult this our standard operating procedure to know what we actually do. In this firm, how do we push website projects to the GitHub? The first thing he says is this cover page. Now you can see obviously it's GitHub. The second one is the table of content to help him easily go into any page like quickly. The third one is the stats. So this is the goals to ensure sensitive data are being protected. I just told you that one. To ensure productivity, for instance, even while you're putting in .env, there's some folders you would want to put on your git ignore. For instance, these node modules will not be here, right? Some other things like composer, let's assume, I think I use composer as well. If I go to my modal, let me go to my modal. If I go to my modal, which is where I save certain back-end engineering things, you will see a composer. I think composer should be at payment. Yeah, I did payment with composer. Okay, this is Flutterwave over here. This is composer, right? Composer.json. So there's certain things you don't put, like I cannot upload this my Flutterwave to the GitHub. Why? Because this Flutterwave right now is what we use to process payments. There might be our Flutterwave sensitive key here, private key here. So you have to go to each of the website folder to make sure you're not pushing a sensitive thing to the organization repo, right? But this is not something you know alone. What if somebody just came in there and Intel, although Intel will not have access to system. Intel will not have Intel cannot be a system administrator. Only system administrators will have access here. In fact, if I show you the process, you can see from the beginning of the process, I'm still trying to do that. I can see a system administrator initiates a website state push request. Management team reviews the request memo. Is push necessary? That means even when you say, sir, I want to push to GitHub, we'll have to say, okay, what do you want to push to GitHub? We had a push the other day. You understand? So it has to be approved. If not, okay, remember that I will not be the one to be in charge. I'm going to employ a CTO, which means Chief Technology Officer. So he's going to be in charge of Realnaps, okecbot, as many companies as possible. So before anybody push or pull to the repo, they will have to send him approval. So what do we need, right? After the goals, let's go to the collaboration. So firstly, the CTO is the person that will actually approve for any push or pull, right? Now the CTO could have assistants. You can read it there. He could decide to assign somebody to be in charge, right? So if anything happens, the person will be giving him a feedback, but the person could not be the one to check if that thing is necessary for a push or pull, right? Then we'll have code auditors. Like for instance, see, as a software developer, you don't want people to just push into your code. Or what if somebody pushes something that they will use to hack you? Some Nigerian banks every day they say, oh, they hacked us. Some companies, they hacked us. Who hacked them? Is some developers that created a backdoor, right? That backdoor would have been caught if you had a code auditor to audit the code. If you had a cybersecurity manager who would reflect around the push or the pull to know if there is a data breach or no, these things are not things you just do. So you need to be able to really, really write instructions. If not, something will happen. They'll say you did not tell me, right? So this is why we'll now have SOP. My phone is over blinking. I have so much to do today, God. Okay, let me just quickly rush back to work. So I need to clean Realnaps up. So while I'm doing it, I'll also be updating my SOP. So I'll just practically, while I'm actually pushing Realnaps, I'll be documenting what should be done. I'm actually the cybersecurity expert. I'm the code auditor because I was one who wrote Realnaps. So I will spend like 2 hours now to clean it. After cleaning it, I will now upload it. By that time, the SOP will be done. So now I've noticed that I cannot write all this SOP at once. It looks like the more the business is going, as the business is expanding, as I'm progressing, as I do the normal things I do every day, I will now easily draft an SOP. Should somebody want to do the same thing that I just did, you know. Then if somebody has to perform a job, we can both discuss on the SOP, and they'll go and draft it, and I'll proofread it, edit it. If it's good, I approve it. So if the person leaves the firm, or if somebody else has to do that thing, they'll just go to the standard operating procedure. Now, this is what it actually takes to run a tech firm. It goes beyond VS Code. So I'm going to share this update with you all while I just do this thing finish. And when I'm done with pushing Realnaps and okecbot to the organization server, I'll post another update. So now I've assigned everything that has to do with work to my personal assistants. I have about 3 of them at the moment. I can now have enough time to be teaching you what it takes to run a tech firm, you know, without being pressured about places I'm supposed to be. Because I'm always tense before, always thinking of, I have to do this and I have to do that, so many messages and all that. Okay, so till next time, this is an okay, see you all.